I already know, man. You know, fool with the two, man. Yeah, y'all go fool with each other. Everybody get fucked right. You talking about jump. Shut up like that ass. Jump. Throw a lot of cash. Jump. Niggas ain't no shit. Man, I fuck these beats. Messed up, we didn't fix till I'm rich. Beat a nigga ass with a stick, not a switch. Beat his head with a stick. What you tryna do? Puss ass, nigga. I get my hand with my finger on the trigger. On the shot, even go. She gon' dance with these fans. Put a nigga under, I'm a real great big on. Ice take on, no slate man. Try to throw that ass right to the spike, nigga. Do that nigga hit on this plate, nigga. No coke, ain't in the plate with y'all. I'm in the club. Jump. Fall, little bitch. Jump. Shot like that ass. Jump. Throw a lot of cash. Jump. Shot like that ass. Jump like that ass. Jump. Fuck up, yeah. Jump gang. Jump like that ass. Fuck up, I let fuck up. Bomb in the club. Jump.
Hello, everybody out there doing today. It's your boy Coach Lee on here. I'm joined by my man X. How you doing today, Big X?
Hey, because all is well. How you doing, bro?
How you doing? What we can do, man. So appreciate everybody joining today. We got another episode of that fly news show called That's Some Bullshit. Again, brought to you by my man X and Coach Lee. So what's on your mind today, Big X?
Well, you know, we got a lot going on with the societal issues that we have going on, and in sports. We got Roger Goodell in the NFL. I do believe they've moonwalked back. They backpedal. They pulled a Dion.
So you think it's safe to say that they're trying to change their perception all of a sudden?
O.T.S.B.S. I'm gonna be real with you. O.T.S.B.S.
All the way, man.
I think it's a this is my personal opinion.
Okay, fire away.
And my personal opinion, and just for the record for people out there, some of you know me, some who don't. I look at stuff from many angles to make a decision on something. And my lifetime, I'm in the 90th percentile. So on this one, this is about saving money. This is not about the right thing. Now, allow me to explain. How long has Cap been gone from the league?
I believe it's been about 5 years now, if I'm not mistaken.
So 5 years. In those 5 years, and while he was in sports, these same things were going on in society already. Now, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, by all means, correct me if I'm wrong. The NFL, when there was issues of domestic violence going on, the NFL stepped in and promoted how they were against domestic violence. Am I correct on that one?
That is correct.
And so the NFL has stepped in many occasions to say things that are wrong in society, things that the NFL decided they wanted to step up and say was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They believed
preach.
They believed it was the right thing to do. Now, to my recollection, I'm gonna ask you the same question. This is more of a personal tip. My mother, my father told me stories of racist situations that they've dealt with. I've gone through it. They've told me stories about grandparents and so on down the line. Now, Coach Lee, what about you? Have you had those discussions regarding dealing with racism generationally?
Yes. My parents got it from their parents. I got it from my parents. And I've had that conversation with my kids because that's a part of growing up as a person of color in this United States of America. It's just what it is. You got to go a little bit above and beyond to try to make sure that at the end of the day, when you go out in the world, you can come back home to your family safely. You know, just the rules of engagement.
So with that being said, has the NFL been around longer than you and I?
Way longer.
So if the NFL has been around longer than both you and I, and these situations have been combined, and these situations has been going on since before then, and the NFL is known for making a stance for injustices, would it be right for me to say what I just said regarding that? I think they're trying to save money
I think you're dead on.
Because you flipping overnight. You kick the man out of the league, basically. You defamation of character. He didn't want to play. Remember all these things. He didn't want to work out and do these things. There's all this stuff, and this is not right what he did, even though he got it clear with a Green Beret, somebody who served the country and got body counts and so on. And so all this stuff about him, and now all of a sudden, out of all these years of the existence of the NFL, from players not being able to use the same showers as other players, to not being able to even be in the NFL, to being limited to the NFL, what positions they can play, to coaches, to owners, now all of a sudden they're finally decided, after all these folks, all these bodies that have been laid in the street, that they got it wrong. Nah.
Yeah.
O.T.S.B.S. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
So it kind of sounded like you was taking us a little bit down what we want to call a sports history lesson. So to just take a look at that a little bit more. You know, the NFL's been around 100 years, but all major sports have had their issues. We've heard stories. You know, we've you might have personally even haven't been an athlete, been in a situation where you've experienced things of this nature.
Oh yeah. Personally, you know, in school, we played teams that didn't want us to use their locker rooms to take a shower. And me not focusing on the game, didn't pay attention to it. It caught up to me later when I realized, why are we dressing outside? Why are we doing this? Like at certain places that we go. And then it dawned on me what the situation was. And, you know, you hear stories about NFL players from way back when they wasn't allowed to take a shower until after their Anglo counterparts had already showered and did stuff. And they didn't eat with them, and they didn't do, but they played on the team and they won games for them. So, you know, we've been merchandise since brought here. So
that's true.
Just to put it bluntly, we've been merchandise since we brought here. We still here.
Now they're trying to clean up on aisle one.
Yeah. Now they're trying to clean up on aisle one, and it's not working out because some people are catching on to it, but some are not. Like even in this situation, it's a marketing tool. Like everybody's marketing Black Lives Matter all of a sudden, but change
that's hot right now.
But that's what's hot right now. That like Black Lives Matter. If somebody put that on some shoes, not saying to do that, by the way, it would probably outsell Jordans right now. I mean, you got Nike decide they're gonna go with money. You got Jordan saying this thing, and I'm sorry, I throw Jordan in the same boat as Roger Goodell and any other thing because you've known this is going. Folks been killing folks for Jordans a long time ago. You could have stepped up and said something at any point in time, MJ.
Actually, what he should have done, I don't mean to cut you off, but what he should have done is if he knew that he came out with Jordan brand, he was still making money off of Jordans. You should have taken that Jordan brand and you should have remarketed that to it was something that was attainable, you know, to the people in the hood in the lower income areas. That's what you should have done. And you was really about change.
Yep, man. It's not his thing. Okay, I put it this way, and this is my thing. I'm free. I believe people should be able to act and do the things that they want to do. By all means, if you don't like me, you don't like me. I don't make you like me. You know, sometimes I don't even like myself, but I gotta treat myself with a certain amount of respect, and that's all that you can do at the end of the day. If you're not gonna help, at least don't hurt. So, for Michael Jordan and his shoes, and so he can do what he wants to. Is his thing. He want to be a horrible human being for us. He can ball. Can't take that away from him. That's his profession. as a person, y'all have already seen my views on him. I'd have went hands on with Mike many times just because of his attitude. But that's me.
Right.
Now, the NFL in that situation and how they did Kaepernick is just, I mean, his career, personally, I think his career is done. Could he come back and play? And so it would be nice. I think it would be better if
Been
he sat
gone
down.
too long. Been gone too long, man.
He hadn't been getting hit. And if he comes back and he's horrible, then it's everybody saying, well, that's the reason why he's not in the league, blah, 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 blah.
He
blah.
really has nothing to gain and everything to lose, to be honest.
Yes, most definitely. He
Now,
should just, yeah, go ahead.
What I did find interesting is I saw there was an article that came out over the weekend where what's my man name that used to be the head coach of the Browns? Hugh.
I can't recall.
Drawing a blank. Hugh Johnson. Well, anyways, he came out and he said that back when he was a head coach, is it Hugh Douglas? Now Hugh Douglas played defensive end.
Defensive end. You know who Hugh is.
But he came out over the week. Hugh Jackson, there you go. He came out over the weekend and he said that back in 2017, he was trying to get them to bring Cap in, and they wouldn't. Now, by that time, he's only been 2 years removed.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say Cap, he soared really fast like a meteor, and he flamed out real fast. But in my opinion, he at least should have been a backup in the league this whole time.
Yeah.
You got people like Brock Osweiler and all them bums they had on my Cowboy squad that came in year after year. There's no reason why he shouldn't at least have a backup job somewhere.
Yeah, most definitely. And then at the same time, you also got to think he has the physical capabilities and the mind to be a good quarterback. If you put him with a great coach, then you don't know what you're gonna have with him.
Right.
So not like he's coachable. So yeah, they ruined a man's career. Like apology is to me, apologies mean nothing. Like, in all honesty, at this point in time, it's been, and I'm just cutting it down to the NFL or to sports. At this point in time, it's been so many years and so many generations. Apology is like null and void. Like, it's all up to action. And when I say action, I mean proactive action. Action means that you don't expect to get something out of it. You're just doing the right thing. Because what I see right now, from the most part, is the action is to save something. The action is to hopefully get something in return. Right. So rather than doing these marketing actions because, this is the right thing to do because this looks like we forecasting that we finna lose millions of dollars if people start boycotting and stop buying jerseys. Because what were we just talking about before we came on air? Jerseys became hot when we were walking around sporting them. Once upon a time, people only wore jerseys to the games.
That's true. Now I think, and shout out to my man Lando, man. He said MJ, he can have that attitude, backed it up on the court. That's when he came into the league and he took it by storm. He made the urban look what it is as we know it today. It became cool to wear those things. Yeah. You got to think about at that point in time, basketball shoes, jerseys. You didn't see that in school attire. Like I said, you only saw that in particular when people add sporting events.
Yep.
But you can go anywhere now. You're going to see a jersey walking around. You're going to see hats. And just the shoe industry by itself is a $1 billion industry, especially the resale side of it. So he definitely came in. So, MJ had an attitude. I did see where he pledged over the next 10 years to donate $100 million. I'm going to have to admit, man, I was shocked. Because before, he's always kind of been on the sideline a little bit. But this just kind of shows the impact of what we're witnessing right now. This is stuff that we read about in history books. Like, the civil rights movement. We can only read about it and we go by the stories that our grandparents told us. And our parents told us because they was little kids when that was going on. So us to be living in it right now, it's kind of surreal. I just hope that the energy stays where it said. Go ahead, my man.
Time out. For those listening, you heard my boy say about the civil rights movement. FYI, we still waiting on them rights. All right, go ahead.
Yes, that's why we still here in 2020. We still got we got a lot of opportunity, man.
Yeah. Because that movement is just, it ain't moving. It's a snail's pace. The civil rights stroll, maybe we should change it to that. The casual stroll, civil rights casual stroll.
Yeah, it ain't a march right now.
Yeah, it's not a march. It's not a movement. It's just a casual stroll because it's 2020 now and still talking about the same stuff. But yeah, MJ is doing some stuff, and I don't fault people for trying to do whatever it is they're gonna do, whatever their reason, because I can't say his heart is in the right place because I don't know the man personally.
Right.
But speaking historically and speaking from the consistency of lack of consistency,
this is astronomical for him.
This is astronomical for him and many others. I mean, but at the same time, you got to look at it. If you don't do anything and this goal, you don't know what direction this is going to go in. How many millions of dollars is he going to lose in shoe sales?
True.
Because
all take a lick.
All it takes is one person to come forward and be that shining light that casts a shadow over Michael Jordan and his shoes. And guess what? Jordans are no more. It's a historic or relic. And folks not interested in it. You mess around, see them and pay less. So shout out to Art Franklin. So he says MJ just wants his name in the mix. He don't care about black folks. Tell them to take a stand and be in voice. Now, what you just said, as far as like, the monetary hit that he may take, you think that's going to force him to pick a side? I think he's going to do what he's done now is all he's going to do. Like, I think that's all he's going to.
So yeah, he go right here. I'm done.
He's going to throw out some millions of dollars, and he may make a speech at some point in time. But as far as him taking an actual stance, like I said, this is my thing regarding activists. To me, an activist is always on duty. Like, you know about them from start to finish.
Right.
So
they walk the walk.
Yeah, they walk the walk. They live it every day, all the time. So when you have certain people from the Jesse Jacksons to the Al Sharps to the blah, 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 and the list goes on, that pop up only when it's enough TV cameras around. And
opportunists.
Opportunists. Ambulance chasers. So now everybody when the cameras are gonna be around, now it's an announcement. We all gonna go march and we're gonna do this and talk and have these conversations. And that's been the norm of what happens. But the thing about it is, it's like, but where is that? Where is that accountability all the time? Like, that's the problem right now that everybody's having, the lack of accountability. So when someone like Kaepernick stood up to try to say, okay, there needs to be accountability, and people are like, oh, shut up, nigga. You just play football. You're not even that good. So it's just, excuse my language, I'm just being raw. But the lack of accountability to it. So the only accountability that there seems to be is the accountability toward the athletes to make them more money. So when money comes into jeopardy, then it comes time all of a sudden that everybody all of a sudden gets it. The light bulb didn't come on. So now everybody throwing some money in. Black Lives Matter. NFL throwing some money in. Nike throwing some money in. Jordan throwing some money in. And Drew has seen the light. It's just, it's a lot. Oh. Mr. Roger.
Roger.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at this. For those who haven't seen it, Mr. Roger Goodell, who was always he took a stance against what Cap was doing, which I get it. You got a brand that you're trying to protect, I guess. But at the same time, you can't be down the middle. You can't be right. You can't be left. You probably give attention to both sides, but you can't be down the middle. So let's take a look at what Mr. Goodell had to say.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is now admitting, that the league was wrong for not listening to players as they took a knee to promote social justice here in the United States, and he's now formally apologizing. Listen to this.
It has been a difficult time for our country, in particular, Black people in our country. First, my condolences to the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and all the families who have endured police brutality. We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of Black people. We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. We, the National Football League, believe Black lives matter. I personally protest with you and want to be part of the much needed change in this country. Without Black players, there would be no National Football League. And the protests around the country are emblematic of the centuries of silence, inequality, and oppression of Black players, coaches, fans, and staff. We are listening. I am listening. And I will be reaching out to players who have raised their voices and others on how we can improve and go forward for a better and more united NFL family.
So that was Mr. Goodell and what he came up with. Yeah, that's definitely what that is, man. That's definitely what that is. O.T.S.B.S.
I heard one truth.
What's that?
The one truth he said is there would not be an NFL without the Black players.
Facts. Not something watchable.
Let me tell you something. My great grandmother said something I didn't understand at the time, but it rang true. She said, "There's a lie up the creek. You stay in the boat. Sooner or later, you'll get there to see what it is." Now, in that whole conversation, what he said, and the only thing the opportunist and all these other things, he said something that made I start hearing cash register.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
When he said that would not be an NFL without Black players, there is your scratch, there's your itch. Because once what I say earlier is trying to save money. Because he said that they were wrong because they didn't listen to the players then, and that the social injustices and so forth. So now, this is the thing, and this is the reason why I can't get behind people, the activist people and so forth, because this is nothing new. This is me and you combined generations upon generations upon generations. This is nothing new. Police been killing folks since they've been in existence in the U.S. Like unarmed, so snatching folks. Everything that they do now, they have been doing. This is nothing new. So you can't act shocked. So when Cat was kneeling and saying this stuff, it's not like he was making stuff up, because it was happening.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what president was in office and so forth, it was still happening. There's not one. The only time I can think of possibly that it may not have been going on to this level was 9/11. Because they were focused elsewhere at the time.
Right.
So, for Arab brothers and sisters, thanks for the brief break. But but it just went back to like it is. Like this is the norm for us, the crazy norm, where I have to teach my son, when you get pulled over, these are the things that you do. I have a lucky thing because I was a police officer, so I know what police officers look for, especially the shady ones, the jumpy ones, scary ones, whatever the case is. So I know everything he needs to do. But the thing about it is, because of his race, that's no guarantee and no promise on how that outcome is going to go. Because all they need is the excuse and the opportunity. So I'm sorry, Roger. I ain't buying O.T.S.B.S.
So do you think so? Shout out again to my man Lando. So he said Cap should be in the NFL and the players should have stood up for him. So this kind of ties into what you're saying a little bit. So do you think that more players should have stood up for Cap?
I'm gonna put it this way. One thing I learned being in the military and being in law enforcement is everybody ain't designed for the job. Some folks are willing to risk their life for another person. It's just part of who they are. It's part of their DNA. And then some folks are not gonna. Some folks will do it after somebody else do it. Some folks just won't do it. Right. So I can't say that they should have stood up with him because people have different mindsets and different goals. What Cap did was noble and an honorable thing. You know, and people compared them. I remember when it first happened and went on, people were saying Anglo folks were call Ali a hero. Now, funny thing about it, Ali went through the exact same thing that Cap went through because he wouldn't go fight in the war because he said people, you know, he's getting oppressed and the police was doing the things to him. Same exact thing they said about Ali, they said about Cap. So, you know, and he took financial hits and so on down the line. So everybody knows the story, Ali. So, you know, Cap went through his situation also. So it's one of those things where what we see now is groundbreaking. And at some point in time, either there'll actually be changes, but it's going to take time, or something significant enough will happen and it'll kind of just float away like, you know, past situations. So time will tell, but right now it's because it's going on so long. I think the NFL is doing damage control. The last thing they need is those wealthy NFL players and ex-players and so on to decide they're going to start their own league.
Right.
So, yeah.
So he should have been ready to stand by himself. I'm gonna chime in. I think he should have known that was going to happen because you got to look at the NFL Players Union. It's the weakest union in all four of the major sports. If they don't stand for each other when it comes time to get their bread, they sure ain't gonna stand for each other when it comes time for any type of social perspective.
Yeah. Well, see, you also got to think about it. Not everybody has a social perspective. And then, you know, some people are focused on the latest fad or this, that, and other. They're not focused on the whole. They're not. There's very few. Am I my brother's keeper? Very few. Very few. Like, you know, like to me, I can say it hurts my heart to see, you know, my brothers and sisters going through pain. But it also hurts my heart to see anybody, regardless of their skin complexion, suffering needlessly. Like I don't like it. Like I hate bullies and all that other kind of stuff. But that's me. I know me will jump into the fight in a heartbeat, but I don't expect the person next to me to do the same thing because their mindset is different, or they may have different responsibilities to mine. If you got a family and wife and kids and so forth, so on, and you got bills, and you know what Cap is gonna do, and you know what the outcome is gonna be, you're like, nah, bro, I got child support. I mean, you gotta make that decision. So it's just there's some people who are willing to risk it all, and that's an admirable thing. And some people will say, "Oh, that's stupid, man. I wouldn't do." But it depends on the person. If you're not willing to go through it and know you're gonna go through some stuff, then that ain't for you. But you know, if you're willing to go through it to the end, then do what you do. But that's a lonely road, man. If you think about it in history, everybody who's done that is always been one. It's not a group.
Right.
It's been one. It's one. You know, and the one time that there was two, they had opposing views, but at the end they started kind of coming together, and then they both got snuffed out. And for those who don't know, that would be Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
That usually happens. So that's a good segue. You spoke about just a minute ago, as far as people making a stand. and standing up for what they believe in. So with that being said,
I got a feeling he gonna bring a Droopy Drew.
Drew Christopher Breeze.
How can you have a cool name and a never mind? Go ahead.
So Drew came out and had some controversial statements, and obviously since then he's
Did he?
Yeah, he had made mention about how anybody that can stand for the flag is pretty much unpatriotic. How his grand take it down, so I can't see it. So that's definitely a candidate for O.T.S.B.S. Now he made the apology. Are you buying the apology, man? All right, for our viewers out there, who's buying the apology? Is he genuine? I know he did a lot for the New Orleans community. I think he's been there like 15 years now or something like that. And it's amazing how everything that you build yourself up can be torn down in a matter of seconds.
Oh, I got a response for that. But viewers, do y'all buy the apology before I chime in? Because I don't want to influence anybody with the words that I may say. Like, y'all can be real.
Fire away, man. Everybody a little quieter right now. I think it's still a touchy subject.
So let me break it down. First of all, regardless what anybody does for a community, the people that I've been most impressed with that have done stuff for communities and so forth, usually you find out about it through hearsay.
Right.
They just don't. I'll put it this way: I donate money. I donate money not for the tax write-off because it's a need. Is now should his apology be accepted? Let me back up on that. Yes, by all means. You're supposed to forgive everybody at all times. Everybody makes mistakes, and nobody walking this planet is perfect. Nobody. As much as people want to think some people are, think that they are, you're not perfect. You're gonna make mistakes, whether it be out of making a dumbass decision or just making it out of ignorance. His statement that he made could have been made. Some people say he's racist, and some say that. I'm gonna say, I don't know the man. I'm gonna say he made it out of ignorance. And for that part, I can say I forgive. However, trust is not part of the equation. That you don't get a buy one, get one free. I can forgive. Trust is a whole different situation. Now, this is the flip thing about it. And this is the reason why I say the trust part comes in. Drew, bruh, you've been in the league for a while. You know what Cap said and the whole situation was. So two things. One, you weren't listening. So that's a problem. So if you weren't listening to the plights of your brothers and sisters in the league, the ones of color, saying this is what's going on in the community, you weren't listening to them, then that's a problem.
Because, he definitely was tone deaf.
Because that means you can't care that much. Like, if I'm at my brother's house and the baby is crying and he don't hear it, then, I'm going to react. Hey, the baby's crying. What's going on? So, his remarks is not only poor timing, but it's a lack of empathy. It's a lack of historical intelligence. Because one of the things he touts himself on is his grandfathers fighting in World War I and World War II. Right. Now, for me, the significance of that is our people who fought in World War I, World War II, my grandfather that earned a silver medal, they were not allowed to collect their medals if they were alive. Either they had to be killed in combat, or after the war was over with and they died of whatever they died from, then they get their medal. So they
never really had a chance to truly experience their honor.
Yeah, they never got to stand up and pen and say, okay, I shed blood and I fought and so forth. They never got that honor. So these are the things that's been going on through generations. So his comments ring deep and affect people differently, and it depends on that person. So with my background, military background, my grandfather, and so on down the line, versus his privilege versus my situation and your situation is different. So when we hear those words that he's saying regarding not kneeling, the kneeling for the flag thing, and his poppy Kaepernick, then my reaction wasn't like everybody else was like, oh, well, I'll take that back. I did make some jokes regarding him, but it wasn't as intense as New Orleans fans, because that's their man. That's their man, and once again, it's the wrong time. But his apology and all that kind of stuff, I put it this way: it could be sincere, but change takes time. If this has been going on for, like I said, we said earlier, this has been going on for generations. His situation, his life has been going on for generations. He's proud of his generation and so forth. And if he is truly oblivious to it, then it takes time to build up the understanding of what people are going through, because you haven't lived it. Me, I have kids, but I can't tell you what it's like to endure childbirth. And if I go and tell any woman, any female that's on here listening, and if I say, oh, I know what it's like to have children because I have 3 kids, but I've never given childbirth, y'all gonna look at me all type of crazy. Okay. He can't, that's why I say he can't know. Right? If he's just now understanding this, truly just now understanding this, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, he doesn't know. His apology is more so damage control, and he may be trying to understand, but once again, like I said, apologies without change means nothing. So, and it doesn't mean he doesn't mean he need to go out to the community and give people money and hand out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and all that other kind of stuff. It just means he needs to make a change to understand historically things within his people and our people, and understand how that whole dynamics works together. And then as he understands that, then start talking to other people, because that conversation between them, Anglo, and us is not meant. We've already been having them conversations. Is to get someone to change who may want to, may not want to,
right,
is irrelevant. The whole part, my particular opinion about it, is just be fair, be accountable. All the things, the key things of patriotism and being a patriot and being honorable and being this, that needs to just go across the board. Go across the board. If you don't like me because you don't like the shade of my skin and so forth, I got no problem with staying away from you, and vice versa. But at the same time, you're not going to spit in my face. You're not going to call me out my name. You're not going to harm my kids. You're not going to do all that. With those things, with those type of things, comes consequences. And everybody's consequences is going to be different. Some folks going to take that. Some folks going to turn the other cheek. I'm probably going to turn to the right hip.
You're not going to put no vitamins and minerals in their life, are you?
I'm going to put it to you like this. There'll be a fluid leakage problem. Excessive. Mechanic work.
So with all that being said, man, we got the Jews perspective. We looked at a little bit of Roger Goodell. We talked about Cap a little bit. Mm-hmm. So my question for you is, hey, what's next, man?
What's next is, I think one, on both sides, people need to walk and move intelligently and safely, because
it's tense times, man.
Because in my experience and things, everything that you see in the front, there's always the wild card. There's always the thing that you cannot account for. And the things you can't account for is the unforeseen things and unforeseen mistakes, whether it be other people, whether it be climate, whether it be environmental. You don't know what the situation is going to be. Mm-hmm. So this is a time where people need to start thinking. and reacting accordingly, and most of all, being honest. If you don't like, if I'm gonna be raw right now, so excuse me. You little kids are listening, send them to the other room. You don't like black folks for whatever your reason or whatever your myth is, whatever little backwoods thing that you done came up with, you done heard that you don't like us. All you got to do is leave us the hell alone, because we have no problem with leaving you alone. No issue with it whatsoever. However, I don't want to see you dancing to our music no more, all off beat. I don't want to see you sporting no J's, even though, you know, you're kind of funny anyway. I don't want to see you wearing no hats backwards. Don't be trying to use no verbiage and slang. Stop trying to tan and get your lips injected. I'm gonna need y'all to stop all that stuff. Stop stealing stuff. Stop biting. Okay? Leave it alone. When you don't like people, you don't try to emulate them. You don't try to steal from them. You don't try to bar. Just as we say in the neighborhoods, keep my name out your mouth. Just you have your rally. Burn whatever you're gonna burn and call us out our name in your area that you want to be. But the minute you come step into our people bothering us because you got a badge on or because you feel like you're entitled to do such, all you're doing is you creating problems for the future. I told people long before this happened, my generation and the ones after are not that turn the other cheek type. We're not the Martin Luther King group. You do something else, it's a matter of time. You can poke a puppy dog with a stick, and sooner or later they're gonna bear them teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Puppy dog done grew up now. Big dogs running around. So we can move forward. Drew, we can move forward. I don't know how you gonna move forward, but you gonna be pretty sober, be real. But you can move forward. But don't let your mouth put you out there and you can't keep up with it. Because you can't keep, once some words come out of your mouth, you got to keep up with them words. So now you didn't apologize, you didn't put yourself out there. You really would have been better off making your statement, say, you know what, I misspoke, and shut up from there. Don't do that whole empathetic. I understand now. I've seen the light.
Now that I could have bought.
Yeah. If you say, you know what,
I don't need no prepared statement.
Yeah. That's the reason why I said, folks don't change like that. I'm sorry. I want everybody that's listening to think of a food that they've tried that they didn't like.
Asparagus.
Asparagus, whatever it is.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be more specific. Boiled asparagus.
Lima beans. Okay. I have met one person who liked lima beans, but you know, who knows? So you think of a food that you don't like, and all this dude said he liked lima beans.
Oh man.
That just gave me bad flashbacks. But anyway, but you think of a food that you don't like, and all of a sudden you tell yourself or you tell somebody who makes it that you like it all of a sudden. Just because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You want them to feel better. Now, sooner or later, you're going to have to eat them lima beans. You got to prove it. You said you like them, so you're going to have to prove it consistently. It's not, you didn't decide you like them that you don't like them. It's consistently. So Drew, if all the stuff Drew said before and after, now he got to prove. And it's not going to be, it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with him volunteering in the neighborhood. It's going to be with his way of life. It's just a way of life. Like all this is, everything that's going on right now has to do with a way of life.
Right.
The NFL players getting fair treatment, not getting treated, us not being treated as marketing tool. It is, we can do more than play football and basketball, baseball, dance, track, swim, and you know.
Do you think they're genuine in the way that they say that they're heading?
Who?
The NFL.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
I just wanted to make sure because from my perspective, Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. That's all I'm telling y'all out there, man. You know, money is money. Money is money. And at the end of the day, them Benjamins is gonna mean a lot more than what's right and what's wrong. Because we wouldn't have wars if we trying to do what's right and what's wrong. We always say we're doing it for the sake of humanity. But look at what's going on over here. We always say it's for the sake of religion. We know what religion can be done, used to do.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, it's all about those dineros, man, the greens.
I'll put it to you like this. From soldiers, most military guys that go in the military, everybody's in there for a particular reason. Some people in there to lose weight or serve their country honorable and so forth. And there comes a point in time when you're in the military that you may lose faith in what you're fighting for. Now, at that point in time, you got to do the honorable thing. You have to honor your commitment. But the whole thing changed because almost every soldier is fighting for the person next to him. Because if I take care of the guy to my left and my right, and they taking care of me, we all get to go home for the most part in one piece. And it's regardless of whatever our differences are, I may not like them, but my job is to keep them alive, and their job is to keep me alive, and we're gonna do our job. So in this situation, it's the same thing. You don't have to like us, but let us do our job, and you do your job. But it's got to be fair,
right? And
it's got to be done honorably, and it's got to be accountability for those who've done wrong. And that goes and there's no excuse for anybody. I don't care what the race are and what the sex are or whatever the case is. Accountability is applicable to everyone. And if people are not willing to do those jobs or don't want to do those jobs, then they need to move around. It's just plain and simple.
Right.
So that's just the life we live, that we just happen to be on the unfair side of that part, that people have never been held accountable to the atrocities that's going on.
Right.
And, and there's people who don't care, who legitimately don't care. And, that's to be expected, because once again, nobody's perfect and everybody has their point of views, and some points of views are blatantly ignorant and dumb. Some are just born in them. Some people just hate just for the fact that they can, and they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to do that. However, what you're not allowed to do,
you got to be responsible for your actions.
Yeah, you're gonna be responsible. There's consequences to actions. There's always a consequence. It can be a good consequence, or it can be a consequence. But there's gonna be a consequence. Right now, it's going on, and we don't know what direction it's gonna go. Because don't forget, there's somebody out there called Rona. Because I still see folks running around with masks on. So we got the two R's going on right now. We got Rona and Riot.
Not Rice-A-Roni, huh? Rona and Riot.
Rona and Riot. So if it get any worse, then we're gonna add that third R in there, which means it's gonna get real. Which we're gonna have Rona, Riot, and it's gonna get real. When real come in, that means martial laws and injections and I hate to say this.
Two things gonna happen, man.
Go
ahead. Cancel what precinct?
Cancel seasons or postpone seasons.
Two things gonna happen. I'll say by the middle or the end of next week, we're gonna know if Rona is real or not. Because all these people been in these close quarters, sweating, hugging, and grappling with one another. It's gonna be a big outbreak. If it's not a big outbreak, then the riots are probably gonna continue. Regardless, it may not have a good ending.
Well, another thing once again, there's that unforeseen thing. Harvey got a sister called Henrietta, and if she go blowing through there, folks just gonna get washed away. So all what's that song say? Wash your tears away.
Right.
Anyway, Temptations. What's that? Wish it would rain. Yeah. You can stand in the street. You can only stand in the street mad and yelling for so long when Hurricane Henrietta come blowing through with Category 5. So it's a lot. There's unforeseen things, and if Rona is real, it's gonna be a whole bunch of folks sick. If Rona not real, then folks gonna get mad because y'all done lied to about a whole bunch of people. And for all you people who got toilet paper,
hold on. In the words of Samuel L. Jackson, hold on to your butts.
yeah. So we'll see.
We shall see. But we appreciate y'all joining in today, man. Before we wrap it up, you got any shout outs, bro?
My shout out to y'all is what I say all the time, and I really mean this sincerely. I need y'all to be safe on all categories. Take care of your health. Take care of your family. Be safe. Use your brain and think. If you lack common sense, find somebody who has it and follow what they do.
I would agree with that. For myself, big shout out. I saw they had the memorial service today for Big Floyd. Everybody know he wasn't, the model human being, but at the end of the day, he was a human being. People shouldn't deserve to go the way that he did. But I definitely like the way that the people from Kingsville represented today to let them know, what I'm saying, that he was part of the Tamu family. He's going to be a Javelina forever, man.
Yep.
We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. With that being said, again, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Peace.
I go from now. Can somebody tell me where do I go from now? Can somebody tell me where do I go from now?